Welcome to Exchanging Secrets podcast. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. I'm your co-host, Mindy Silva, here with
Nadia Theng,
Karen Macias,
Marie Pinedo.
And we have some wonderful sponsors for this podcast. New year, new you. And we'd like to thank Reyna. She provides home loans to those who are looking to invest in a property. You can reach her at the Reyna on Instagram. We also have Shannon Laird. Thank you so much, Shannon, for being a sponsor. You can reach her on Instagram at shlaird0515. We also want to thank Brandi Stevens, known as DJB Selecta. You can find her at that name on her Instagram as well. Thank you so much, and plays the best music if you're looking for someone to DJ your next event. Finally, we'd like to thank Luis Font and Alejandra Font from the Camp Transformation Center. They are the co-founders, and we're so blessed to have them sponsor this podcast. You inspired me, even around the real estate. You were the first one to really embark on that real estate journey. It wasn't me. I talk about it here, and you're more shy about your accolades, but but I imagine you had some goals in mind around that. I think early on.
Well, let me see. So, I bought my first house at 26 by myself, and during that time, all my friends were already, getting married and buying their homes, and I was working, and I had a good job for that age, and But then I was paying attention to what all my friends were doing, and I'm like, wait, okay, I'm making good money, but I'm just, buying things I don't need or just spending it. So I'm like, okay. So I saw what they were doing. So then I decided to buy a little home. And I did. So I believe I was 26. Yeah. So yes, that was my first home.
Area, right?
Yeah. And then I lived there for a little bit. I was roommates with Jen at the time. And then that's when I met my husband, Orlando. And then I moved to Orange County with him. But then I rented out my house. So I was a landlord for about 10 years. Wow. So you could only imagine what happened in 10 years. The market. Anyways, yeah. So,
Little investment.
Yes, a good investment. There you go. So it's little seeds that I planted, and I'm glad I made those moves. I didn't realize what I was going to do, but then of course, 10 years later, it was very nice. Yeah.
You were able to buy a condo after that, right?
Yes. Well, no, we bought the condo. I hadn't sold the Fontana yet. So we,
okay.
At the time we were, I was still working on my school, my master's and stuff like that. So I was focusing on that. And then we did buy a condo out in Orange County by South Coast Plaza. And then we lived there for a little bit. It was a sacrifice because it was very tight, but again, OC, it was, so a whole other, economic over there. Yeah. But so at the time we're like, okay, this is okay for now. Let me finish school. And then as things, we worked really hard, but things started, happening. And then we sold the condo. So yeah, we've bought properties, we've sold them. And then with all that, we were able to have a very nice down payment for our house now. So yeah, we've done some moves.
But you had those goals in mind,
exactly.
Right? You had those goals.
Exactly.
You knew you wanted to get there.
Yes.
I think that's important.
Yes.
I think setting those goals, and also back to giving ourselves grace, right? We can set a timeline, but the reality of it is we're not always in control of that. So acknowledging, right? I want to achieve this in X number of time, but maybe you might get there faster, and maybe it might take a little bit longer, but keeping focus on it, I think, is the most important thing, and not losing motivation along the way.
Well, it was tough. There was times where I did want to give up. I was having kids and trying to finish my master program, and it was tough. And you have those people that motivate you, your mentors, and they're like, no, you're almost there. Didn't give up. And it's it all, pans out at the end, and it's worth it. And like you said earlier, it's worked so hard. It was hard because nothing was handed. Nothing was handed to me. I had to work so hard. We had to work so hard, both my husband and I, and it's so much more rewarding. That's why now I can sit back and be like, oh, I love where we're at. It's so worth it. Yeah. It was such a journey. It was hard, but it just makes it that much more rewarding. And then it's like the littlest things will make me happy now, because it's like, like it's, you know, and again, I go back to, it's just the simplest things now.
Yeah, I really do think we're all in a season of enjoying the fruits of our hard work.
Yes.
We all went through broke times, broken down car times, right? Lots of sacrifices. I think a lot of times people think success is just sort of like this linear path, or they'll see where you're at today and assume it comes, you know, overnight, or they'll see the car you drive and they're like, oh, you know, maybe someone handed that to you, or, you know, do you have a sugar daddy, or, you know, whatever the case is, you know, I'm like, no inheritance right here. But I think, right, it was all of us had like this intrinsic piece of us that really wanted, I mean, it wasn't just like success for success sake, and it's how you define success really matters too. But I think all of us many of us came from a place where we knew we wanted to build something better for the next generation. And, you know, so I'm definitely in a season where we're comfortable, but I want to be at the next stage where I'm thinking about building generational wealth, right? Not just wealth in the season, but that, you know, I think a lot of people I see, they stay stuck. They stay stuck because they, one, haven't thought about the next goal for themselves, right? And how they can achieve that. And they stay stuck in finances or whatever it is, sort of like builds a stronghold to a place in their life. But when they can break free of those strongholds, they can start to achieve more and more, little by little. You just chip away at it. You know, I used to see those like, you know, like anytime you follow something on Instagram, then it just starts sending you, you know, and it was like, is this, I'm tired, nobody cares. And you're like, right, nobody else cares. I'm just going to keep going, right? But some of that was like, I remember Karen, she was like 3 kids back to back, like in the condo, getting her master's programs, trying to save for a new house, all at like the same time. This wasn't like in different seasons. This was all in one season of life.
Like a hurricane season.
Like a hurricane season.
Like I'd be in tears, like I'm so tired and I have to finish my paper, and I'm breastfeeding and I have my baby here, and Orlando took a picture of me one time like that. Like I'm writing my paper and
I just got chills.
Yes. And then I'm breastfeeding, but I'm you know, finishing my assignment. And then when I graduated, or when I finished my master program, it was during COVID. So there was no graduation, but I still wanted a cap and gown, and I wanted to take pictures. Yeah. We went to the school. I took my babies, and I was like, I just want a picture with my kids. Because yeah, we did it.
That's amazing.
It is. And it kept me motivated, right? In seasons where I was like, I'm so tired. I'm like, I cannot be more tired than Karen. So I'm going to keep going and I'll complain. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? It's that my dad used to tell me all the time, like, we definitely had a thing in your house there. He was a Marine and a cop. So it was like very like, that mentality of you don't quit, you don't give up. I can't is not a, you know, it's not a word, it's not an option. It's not but when I remember being in college or going through careers, and I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. There's days you want to quit. And he'd say, oh, you can quit tonight in your sleep. And then I need you to get up and just, you know, do it all over again. You can quit every night. Every night you can say you quit, you know, but then you're going to have to get up. And I was like, okay, Dad. But it really did. It really helped me. So sometimes I'd be like, I quit tonight. And I just lay there.
Just because you want to say it. At 6 a.m., I'm back at it again.
Got my job back. Yeah, no, it really was, you know, I think some of that mentality was from my parents, right? And everybody gets it from somewhere different. They're either motivated by a friend or motivated by family, or just something inside them. Yeah. One day it clicked.
Even just growing up with some friendships and being at their houses, and like, you know, you pick up on the positivity and and all that stuff. Because again, my mom, she had to work hard. It was just her, so I didn't have my dad around. So I had to learn, and I learned a lot from like my friends' families.
That's where you got your grit from.
Yeah.
From your mama.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I remember you, Auntie, in the season where you were also trying to get your bachelor's degree. You were weaving into new careers and trying to achieve, and how hard that season was, trying to balance being a mom, a wife, a new career, school, and all of that. And how long did it take you to finish your bachelor's?
My grandma, has dementia now, but when it was first onsetting, she'd have like days where she was like remembering things and not. So I called her one day and I was like, you'll never believe what came in the mail. And she said, your degree. And I was like, yes. And she goes, that's great. It only took you 7 years. And I'm like, of all the things you have to remember, that's the thing that you remember that it took me that long. But it was this big joke for a long time. But yeah, it took me a long time. I started, I stopped, I went back. I mean, we didn't have the money for me to go to school at the time. So it was when I literally did classes at different community colleges to try and make up the cost from another one. And, but
doesn't matter how long it takes you.
it doesn't.
It doesn't say it on the diploma how long it took
You're
you to
right.
get there.
Right.
I remind myself that all the time. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it took me, I don't know, 100 years. But I have no idea how long it took. It took me forever, too.
Yeah.
But I reminded myself that. And my son's on the same journey. Like, he's not completing his bachelor's in 4 years. I think we're I think we're on 4 years now, and he probably has another year and a half left. But I always tell him, it doesn't matter how long you get there, as long as you get there.
Right.
Because again, you're not in competition with anyone else.
Right.
Except yourself. So who cares if someone got there in 2 years? Who cares if they got there in 4 years? That's their journey. That's not yours. That's not your story.
Right.
Your
Even
story
if
is
they're
different.
taking a class, one class.
That's it.
If they're overwhelmed, let's say they had a busy semester and they want to take a break, no, at least take one class. Always be doing something. I always advise that to my people that are in their 20s. It's okay. You want to have fun. You're working. Take a class on the side. Always be doing something on the side. Always, because the classes will add up, or a summer course or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Always doing something on the side. That's like the story of our life. Yeah.
But we need to slow down.
We need to slow down.
Back to the part,
Goal
right?
2025. Slow down. Yeah. No. I think one of the things I did learn, and one of the goals I set for myself, was to have multiple streams of income. But at some point that would be passive income.
Yeah.
Right now it's active income, and that can be pretty exhausting. But I know that if I grind really hard these next 10 years, that this active income is leading to that passive income. So that when I'm 50, 60, 70, I'm gonna be like those girls on Instagram, woo, living it up, because, I'm just enjoying the fruits of the hard work, you know? And so, that's really the goal, is to get there. And I do think when you have that sense of both financial freedom and time freedom is priceless. You can really live fully in your purpose. You can give the best of yourself. You can pour into other people. You can give back into your community. You can pour into your family. I think definitely freeing up your time, right, is one of the most valuable things you can have in life.
And I think the grinding piece is also, don't forget to enjoy it along the way. That's what I feel like this year. It has been a busy year, but there's been so much just favor on our lives, and just so much that we've enjoyed, even though, honestly, even this morning I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need some major coffee today. But it's all for good reason, right? We're enjoying where we're at. We're really in a space that we have never been from a marriage or family perspective. So it's yes, we're busy and we're tired and things are happening, but don't forget to hey, go out and just have a date night. Go out and do something with your kids. Go out and just, whatever that is, because sometimes I feel like you can get not you, in general, we can get so focused. You, yes, but not just you. You, yeah.
You and you.
And
right.
you get a car.
Get so focused on I have to get this done by this date and this time and whatever. And then all of a sudden 2 weeks have passed and I'm like, dang, did I sit next to you all day? Did I do something fun with you? Or, and that's the piece that I think this year I feel like we've really been able to do better, is we're really busy. We're accomplishing a lot. Thankfully, to your point, financially, we're in a really good spot. We have a lot of just different things that have finally feel like they're in a space where we can just kind of all right, what can we do next? What do we want to do? But at the same time, what are we doing to just enjoy those times? Because they're going to go by. As much as I want to get to 10 years where I retire in 10 years and I'm done, I'm also in 10 years, that means I'm going to be almost 50 and my kids are going to be big. And all of those things start to hit me. And I'm like, I don't really want to miss this 10 years either. I want to do something that we accomplish things, but we enjoy it along the way.
You want to be present.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Mindy and I started doing day dates. So we had a day date a couple weeks ago where they went to go purchase. Well, okay.
We didn't. But.
Well, it was we were not supposed to buy a car that day. And we ended up. And we ended up buying the car, but it was so enjoyable. Like we literally didn't do anything. Car. But we had the best time that day, and it was like a full day, and it was being so present in the moment. And I'm just so thankful that I have people like that to have those moments with, and I can just be me, and we can be silly, and we can do the most random things and go to 16 dealerships in one day. And
we did. We tried so many cars for fun. And then we did end up getting one. But we weren't supposed to.
She told me two goals. Okay, so let's also talk about goals, how sometimes you don't, Okay, so she says, I want an economical car. And like a low modest car payment. Okay, we bought the most expensive car on the lot.
I was just gonna say, which is not what's in the driveway, but okay.
It's not economical. Okay, so
it was compared to the truck I really wanted.
I mean,
so like when you compare.
I told her, I'm like, you should have told me what the baseline was. If I knew that I was comparing it against 12 miles a gallon, then I would have known everything was economical compared to that. Here I am trying to show her these like modest cars, and she's like, no. And I'm like, what? You told me? She's like, no, I don't. And then she's like, I like that one. I'm like, that's the exact opposite of what you told me.
It literally is when you're describing them. Like, that's not what's in the driveway.
No. I'm like Disneyland in the car.
I'm like, oh, I feel very guilty every time we go shopping with them. Like Ruben had a budget. Him and my husband went shopping.
Oh, right.
And they went like 3 times over the spending. And then Ruben kept going back and spending more money. And my husband's like, this is not my fault.
This
cousin
is not
does
my
not get
fault.
mad at me. Like I even told Ruben, like, no, I don't want to be responsible for this. Like, I want Mindy coming after me. And then same thing, we go to get the car and she gets like the most expensive. Dom's like, we need to not go with them places. Like, I feel like this is not a good thing.
They need to do, I told her, your business should be consulting like a high person. Cause he's like, you deserve this. You work so hard for this car. I'm like, I do. I deserve this. I don't even know how to use these buttons, but it's okay.
I'm like, I can't wait for you to drive us somewhere.
Yeah.
I want to sit in that car.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait to sit in the back with the big TV. I'm like, I'm so excited.
It does all these things for you. And so it was so funny because I didn't know. And every time something moved or something twitched or something grabbed my body, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I was just freaking out. We laughed so much. And then
We're going on a girls' day.
We're going on a girls' day.
In the car. We should film it one day.
What's even more funny is that I don't even drive that car because it has so many bells and whistles. I was like, just give me the SUV because I don't know.
Mindy.
I don't. Ruben drives it.
Okay, because here's the thing. She got everything she wanted on the Suburban, and Ruben didn't get anything. So when we went to get this car, I'm like, let Ruben pick something. Like, Jesus Christ, Mindy. He also deserves something too.
He works hard too.
Yeah. So I was like fighting for my cousin over here. So then he was like, I kind of want to look at the Porsche. I'm like, we're going to Porsche, okay? I don't care. He didn't like the car, but it was like, I still wanted him to like have the experience. But it was funny because this car was supposed to be for Mindy, and it ends up being like Ruben's dream car. And then she ended up liking the Suburban. So I'm like,
so we're both happy now.
So they're happy now.
Yeah, but that was actually one of our goals. So, I actually love the Prius. It's incredibly economical. We actually did have an SUV and a truck before.
I remember.
And we sold them, right? Because we wanted to be rid of all financial burdens. And so we used those and bought 2 cars cash, and they were 2 little old Priuses. They have 235,000 miles on them, and we drove them for 5 years. And so that's when people see, like right now they look at my driveway and they're like, what do they do? Or, what are they doing? I'm like, we sacrificed, right? Like that's what it was. It was a lot of years of sacrificing first to put all those other things needed so that we could go and then be in a position where it wasn't a burden, right? I think sometimes we set goals and then we achieve them, but then somehow they become burdens to us. And that is one thing I learned, that I don't want my goals or the things I achieve to ever feel like burdens. They should feel like blessings. And so that is what we're seeing, right? Is like the fruit of the hard work and the blessing and the sacrifice is, it's why I enjoy it more. I think, I told her it was the first time I went, when we purchased these 2 vehicles, we had fun. Like, I mean, a lot of fun. We laughed a lot. And I never felt like that before. It always would feel like, oh my gosh, this weight to purchase something so big. And, for years, Ruben and Karen and I would talk about it. She'd be like, have you done this yet? No, Ruben don't want to spend it. Like, for 5 years, we have not been spending. But But this year, right, we were in a position where we wanted to and we needed to, right?
Yeah.
We have a great tax advisor. Goal for 2025, get yourself a great tax advisor.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
It does. Even when we were putting in the pool, we had the cash for years, and I was like, I don't want to spend this money at all. Yeah. And then we finally, during the pandemic, we put the pool in. And then now I'm like, oh, I wish we would have done this 10 years ago. We would have had so much fun. I mean, it's all everybody's own comfort, right? But now that we have that, it's such a different setting in our house. We can go out, Aunt and I can have our date night in the spa and come back inside in 15 minutes and, you know, like you've had a relaxing time. You're in you're in your own home. It's very comfortable. Like, it's very different. And I wish we would have been a little bit more adventurous with that. Obviously still, like, you know me, I'm like totally the worry person that's like, everything is like risk avert. Like, let me do whatever I can to be, you know, in a safe space. But at the same time, like, those are things that I wish we would have been a little bit more adventurous.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I have colored lipstick on today.
Yes. So proud of you. We're so proud of you.
And you look great.
You look
Baby
beautiful.
Great.
We have 2 people with new colored lipstick. So I was also all nude person, right? Nude lipstick. And Karen introduced me to colored lips as well. Now that's all I wear to work.
Yeah. I think the message behind that, though, is stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And having people who motivate you to do that. So Karen motivated me to actually put a color on my lip. Yay. So I told her we're going to go lipstick shopping together. But that's like a good moral to any story, is like stepping out of your comfort zone, having those people support you through that, right? Like for me, I would have never thought of like potentially starting my own company. But Mindy's like, cousin, you can do it. Like you can do this. And I'm like, can I? You know, and it's so great to have somebody really pushing you out of that box. I love that, you know?
And somebody that like, and people that care for you enough to like push you out of the box, but also like give you, I don't want to say guardrails, but right, like for Karen, for example, like I'll say, what about this? And she'll, nope, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, I won't. So like, right, that knowing that they have your best interest, so that they're pushing you, but they're not pushing you in the effort to, you know, make you fail or make you, you know, something go wrong. It's having people that are really in your corner.
Genuine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that with my cousin.
Yeah.
Like, I know she would never let me fail. She would never direct me in a way for me to fail, right?
For sure.
She would totally navigate me to the point. Like, nope, I think you're going down the wrong path. You need to pull back, whatever. Like, that's what I love. Like, that's what I love about this group is like, we all bring something different to the table, but I think at the end of the day, we're still pushing ourselves, making each other get out of their comfort zone, and then motivating each other differently,
And
you
taking
know?
care of each other and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goal for 2025. We all need to learn how to pose and walk like Karen.
I know. I'm working. I got a lot of work to do for 2025.
She is our creative director, editor, and we all give her a
100%.
lot of problems because we don't know how to pose for a picture. 200 takes later. You're welcome.
And she's like, it's fine, whatever. Yeah. I don't even care anymore, guys. Zoom out really far, Ruben.
It's funny.
Can't tell at that point.
And then it's funny because you're taking pictures of me and you're just like, click, click. How did you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
I got 2 poses.
She's like, okay, I'm done.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'd say one of my goals for the podcast for 2025 is to really figure out sort of what everyone feels like their gifts are, like in the team, right? And to help cultivate that and how to build unity around those things, because you're right. This is all new to all of us. We have never done this professionally. We've done our professions very well, all of us, right? We've all been in our professions for many years now, and we know how to execute on them very well. Most of us can kind of do it in our sleep. But this is like
Out of our comfort zone.
100% across the group, which is so wild, right? Not just like one person. Nobody's ever done anything like this and put themselves so out there. And so I think that would be my hope, is that as the team, we can really start to cultivate the gifts within one another and lean on those for support, and to just really elevate the experience for ourselves and for the people who are hoping to listen in and to learn something from all of us, right? The better we get at that craft, the more value we'll bring. And that's the idea, is that this podcast would, not just be fun for all of us, and we laugh a lot, but it would bring value to the world.
Yeah.
That it would be value and it would create ideas, and people would say, I'm going to take that golden nugget and I'm going to apply it to my life. I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to write my goals, right? I'm going to write my 10-year plan. And then I'm going to go and look at all the objectives in which to achieve it. I remember when Ruben was transitioning. So he went from banking to car sales, but his dream had always been real estate. That was like his, like, since we were 18, he had always talked about it. And kind of like life, it just gets in the way, or you're like, oh, can I really afford to do that? It's not a constant paycheck. And then you have a family that comes, and one day we just said, we're going to go for it on both ends. But I told Ruben, okay, you got to sit down. You got to write those goals, right? You got to take the classes. You got to get a mentor. You have to make sure that we have X amount of money in the bank. You got 6 months to make it work. It's a make or break, right? After that, you go back to 9 to 5, right? Type of thing. But it really was. It was sitting down, writing those goals, understanding. But you achieve them much faster. If I could give any piece of advice, is to find a mentor.
Yeah.
There is... Because they have likely walked that path and they've made their own mistakes, you get to skip over those.
They won't let you fail or
No, and they believe in you in a
Yes.
way that you can't believe in yourself or see yourself in that moment. I attribute a lot of the things that I have been successful in, honestly, to other people, to learning from their mistakes, from learning from their wisdom, and just that they were so gracious to share it with me. Right? Wherever I wanted to grow, I looked for that person. I was like, who's doing it well? And that's who I need to go talk to. And not that I will do it exactly like them.
Sure.
But they will give me the encouragement, the motivation, and the know-how on how to take the first step to get there. I mean, I've had so many incredible mentors. They're all still a part of my life. And it's not someone that you necessarily need to talk to every day. Like, I have one mentor, and he's so incredibly busy. And, I just tell him, only when I cross those like really big bridges, those really, like, I need to elevate from one step to the other, I just need permission to call you. He's like, you got it. I'm like, I don't need all the tangibles in between. I can figure those out. There's just sometimes I need to know how to move, one step further. And he's been so incredible. His name is Jay. Jay did the deal. So if you're looking on Instagram, shout out to my friend. But he has been really instrumental from when I started my consulting business all the way to today. And so I'm really grateful. And another person I won't name, she's not even on social media, but she has done amazing work, even crafting the Obama Foundation, working in Silicon Valley, and, learning how to do consulting work and philanthropy. And she actually helped me, sort of cultivate my career in the philanthropic sector. And so I'm so grateful for them helping me to set and achieve goals and then believe that I could do them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I have one mentor that she doesn't give me like a ton of leading advice, but she'll give me these like little statement nuggets. And I remember one time she asked me if I was doing something, and I said, oh, I'm going to try. And she said, trying is lying. And it's always stuck with me. And I'm like, damn, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. And I was like, I guess it kind of is, because you're insinuating like I might do it, right? When you say I'm going to try. She was like, no, trying's lying. Do it. You put your mind to it and do it. And it's those little tiny nuggets that I carry with me like throughout my career. And I'm just like, I love when they can just drop those nuggets for us.
Yeah. It's something similar. It was actually Dave Ramsey, and I went through his Financial Peace University class, and he says, ish is a wish. I do this ish. I do this kind ish, right? Like, it's kind of like, it's that same thing. It's a wish. It's never going to happen. You have to set your mind to something and you have to go for it. Full throttle. Yeah, that's it. Well, ladies, this has been such an incredible conversation. I'm so excited to see what 2025 brings for all of us. And for all of you listening, I hope that you've learned something today, some golden nuggets of wisdom that you can apply for 2025. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at eXchanging Secrets. Thank you, friends. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Friends, for joining us. Tune in each week as we give you an intimate window into our decades of friendship and exchange secrets on how we are striving to successfully navigate life's challenges. Remember to like and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and other podcast platforms. The content in our podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical, legal, financial, or other professional advice. Please consult with a professional for specific advice tailored to your situation. The views and opinions expressed by our guests and sponsors are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Tell Me Your Secret, LLC.